Hello, my friends. My name is Mrs. Simic, and I teach first grade at Highland Park Elementary in Bloomington, Indiana. Today I'm going to read My Pet Book by Bob Staake. It's written and illustrated by Bob Staake, and it is published by Random House in New York. My Pet Book. My Pet Book. Most pets, are cats and dogs. Go out and take a look. But there's a boy in Smarty Town whose pet is a little book. He never cared for puppy dogs, and kittens made him sneezy. Achoo! He pleaded with his mom and dad, "I want a pet that's easy." A book would make the perfect pet, he heard his mother say. And Dad had read that no pet book had ever run away. So they strolled right past the pet store to a shop with books for sale. No, not one had whiskers, furs, or fleas, or a waggy little tail. How could the boy pick just one? Too tough for this book lover. But then a small book caught his eye. A frisky red hardcover. Of all the books within the store, he liked this one a lot. The pages crisp, the printing fine. The spine was so very taut. He didn't need to give his pet a name like Rex or Spot. It wouldn't answer anyway, and so the book was bought. It never ate, it never drank. It could not do a trick. It never shed, it had no fleas. It couldn't fetch a stick. It never needed bathing. Its ears would never droop. But best of all, that little pet didn't even poop. A better pet you could not have for graceful evening strolls. It wasn't like those ill-bred dogs that drank from toilet bowls. Or like a cat that always slept or wouldn't turn off its purr. A pet book never made a sound and doesn't lick its fur. Inside the book were many tales of awesomeness and glory. The boy imagined as he read that he was in the story. The boy would leave his pet book home, and then off to school he'd go. But one day when the boy returned, the book was gone. Oh no! How does he look? Kind of looks excited and sad and a little anxious. He ran away, the boy began to bleat. How could a pet book run away without a pair of feet? The maid could hear the crying boy. That sound was such a rarity. I think I know what happened. I gave your book to charity. While cleaning out the house of junk, the maid had grabbed a box and filled it full of household things like cups and plates and socks. The pet book must have simply been swept up while on the floor, and then the maid took the box and box and all straight out to the old thrift store. They raced downtown in hopes that they would find it on a shelf, just sitting there and waiting, near a dusty Christmas elf. It wasn't hanging with the coats or sitting with the chair. The pet book wasn't with the lamps or snoozing with a stuffed bear. Of course they went through all the books, the new ones and the old. The pet book wasn't anywhere. It must have just been sold. They slumped down on a musty couch, and in unison they cried. But then the maid leaned in and asked, where would a pet book hide? The boy had never thought of that. He broke into a smile. He remembered something he had seen in the dog and cat stuff aisle. If I were just a scared pet book, I'd likely sneak in here. Perhaps the dark would help me hide and make me disappear. Then with his hands, the boy reached in to feel around each nook, and then he pulled it out to see. He found his lost pet book. They drove back home, the three of them. The pet book checked for wear. The boy was quite relieved to find not one torn page was there. A crazy day they had indeed, yet the story ended well. And now the boy and his pet book had their very own tale to tell. The boy's mom gently asked him how a book could bring such joy. "It's 'cause every book's a friend," said the yawning little boy. His eyes were sleepy from the search and all the time it took, but now the boy could dream all night. With his lost and found pet book. As we read stories with friends and families, and as we listen to them online, make sure that you're thinking about what you would do if you were in the story. So think about what you would do if you had your very own pet book. I miss you guys. Thank you for listening.